I was laying flooring in 100-degree heat for her dream kitchen. Came home covered in dust, only to find her luggage by the door and a note. You built the house, but he made it a home. My cousin stepped out of the shower behind her. You should have seen this coming, he said. I didn't say a word. But that night, I called someone who knew every secret about them both. I'm a contractor based out of Greeley, Colorado. Been doing flooring, drywall, framing, roofing, whatever pays. Since I was 18. I'm 37 now. Got my own small crew. A used truck I maintain myself, and enough tools to fill a garage I barely park in. For a while, life felt steady. Nothing flashy, just working with my hands and coming home to a woman I thought loved me. Haley. We met at a county fair. She sold home decor back then, those chalkboard signs and live, laugh, love plaques people hang in kitchens. I laid eyes on her, and something just clicked. She had a calm way about her, and she laughed with her whole chest. Real loud, real warm. She moved in with me after 6 months. We didn't have much at the start. Cheap carpet, hand-me-down fridge, and the world's loudest washer. But we had plans. Or I did. Haley talked about how she wanted a real kitchen someday. Something big enough for hosting holidays. She wanted an island with bar stools, pendant lights, farmhouse sink. The whole deal. So, I made it happen. Not fast. Not easy. I worked 2 jobs for 8 months. My knees got so sore I slept with ice packs wrapped around them. I ate off paper plates to save money on water bills. But I did it. Saved enough to start renovations, and even pulled some materials at cost from supplier buddies. That July, I started laying the new hardwood floors in the kitchen. Hickory. Real stuff, not laminate. I worked in 100-degree heat with no AC, sweat dripping from my chin onto every damn board. I kept thinking about Haley's face when she'd see it finished. On the day I finished the flooring, I came home dusty, tired, and proud. I had drywall mud on my jeans, glue on my knuckles, and grit in my boots. I stepped through the front door and stopped cold. 2 suitcases were by the door. Haley's floral print one and the navy roller bag she only used for long trips. I thought maybe she was going to visit her sister in Texas. But the air felt wrong. There was a folded piece of paper on the kitchen counter. Her handwriting on the outside. I'm sorry. I opened it. You built the house, but he made it a home. I read it 3 times. My mind went blank. My mouth went dry. I stood there like a statue with drywall dust still clinging to my shirt. Then I heard water shut off upstairs. A few seconds later, my cousin Trey walked out of the hallway bathroom. No towel. Hair wet. No shame. We locked eyes. You should have seen this coming, he said. That's all. No apology. No excuse. Just that. I didn't speak. I didn't punch him. I didn't break anything. I stood there breathing hard, blinking slow, like I was trying to wake up from a punch in the head. This was Trey. My blood. My cousin. My drinking buddy. The guy who stayed at my place when his apartment flooded. The same guy I hired when he got fired from his warehouse job and couldn't make rent. I taught him how to swing a hammer. I let him use my truck when his was in the shop. I helped him file for unemployment when he didn't know where to start. Haley, she was supposed to be my person. My wife. The one who said she wanted kids when things calmed down. The one who hugged me in the dark when I lost my dad. The one who told me she loved the way I smelled after work because it reminded her of hard work and home. And she left me for him? I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I walked past them. Didn't say a word. Went down to the basement and plugged in my phone. Then I called my sister, Claire. She grew up with both of us. She always said Trey was a snake. She never liked Haley either. Said there was something fake about her smile, something sharp behind her eyes. Claire answered on the first ring. She could tell something was wrong just from the silence. I need to know everything, I said. And Claire delivered. Turns out, she'd been keeping things to herself for over a year. At first, she thought it wasn't her business. Then, she wasn't sure if she was right. But once I asked, the dam broke. She said she saw Trey and Haley together, twice. The first time was at a bar in Fort Collins. Claire's out with friends and spotted them in a corner booth. Haley was leaning close. Trey had his hand on her thigh. They didn't see Claire, but she sure saw them. She didn't say anything because she hoped it was innocent. The second time was worse. It was at our aunt's birthday dinner. We hosted it in my own house. Claire noticed how Haley passed the mashed potatoes to Trey with this little smile. Nothing big, just soft. Familiar. Like she knew him in a way I didn't. Claire said, "I thought I was imagining it, but now I know I wasn't." That night, I sat in the garage. Lights off. Just me and the heat and the creak of the rafters above. I thought about every time Haley said she was running errands or going to visit her mom. I remembered how Trey always offered to help when I was out of town. "So Haley isn't alone," he'd say. I was too blind to see it. Or maybe too tired to care. I didn't sleep that night. But I did start planning. I didn't want to just scream or throw punches. That'd be too easy. Too forgettable. I wanted something that'd last. Something that would settle in their bones every time they thought they got away with it. So I called Justin. Justin's a guy I met on a roofing job 3 years back. Quiet dude, but he works in insurance now. Fraud investigations. He owes me big. I helped him rebuild his garage after a storm, free of charge because his mom was dying and money was tight. He said anytime I needed something, I should call. I asked him to look into Trey. Anything sketchy. Finance. Cars. Side gigs. I don't care what it is. It only took 2 days. Trey had been filing for unemployment while working under the table. That roofing job I brought him on, he never reported it. Same with side gigs he picked up from Craigslist and neighbors I referred him to. On paper, he was broke. In real life, he was pocketing cash and still collecting checks. But it got better. He used Haley's car as his own. Registered in her name. Tickets unpaid. Insurance lapsed. I guess she didn't know, or didn't care, but she was legally on the hook for everything he was racking up. I smiled for the first time in a week. Then I talked to my buddy Mark, who runs a storage rental place off Route 34. I told him I wanted to move some things out of my house and needed a spot. I gave him a list. TV, some tools, a safe, the washer and dryer. Things Haley thought were theirs but were actually mine. Bought with my money, on my dime. While Trey and Haley were out one weekend, probably playing house, I stripped the place. All the good stuff. The essentials. Left behind the couch, she hated. The coffee table with the broken leg and the old mattress she said gave her back pain. I didn't leave a note. Just took what was mine and left the house hollow. Then I called my lawyer. See, what Haley didn't know is that I had the house deed in my name only. She never signed on. It was a conversation we had early on when I bought the house before we married. She said she didn't care, that she trusted me. I never updated it. And now, that was going to matter. The lawyer's name is Rick. He's not fancy, just a smart old guy with a messy office and 1,000 stories about divorce court. I walked in, gave him the rundown, and he leaned back in his squeaky chair with a grin that told me he'd handled worse. "You want a house?" he asked. "I want her out of it," I said. Rick nodded. "Well, she's not on the deed. That's your leverage. You want to play it slow or fast?" "Slow," I said. "I want them to feel it coming." First step was filing for legal separation, not divorce. Legal separation meant Haley had to start paying for her own stuff immediately. No more riding on my health insurance. No access to shared credit cards. And because she wasn't on the mortgage or the deed, she had no legal right to stay in the house once I gave notice. But I didn't tell her yet. I wanted her to get comfortable. In the meantime, I kept my distance. Moved into a small rental unit above a bait shop just outside Loveland. Quiet place. Ugly as hell, but it gave me space to think. I started documenting everything. Bank records. Texts. Her social media posts. Pictures she posted with Trey in my backyard, drinking beers on my deck. Then I talked to Claire again. She had a friend named Michelle who used to work with Haley at a little home decor shop she managed part-time. Michelle wasn't a fan of Haley, said she was the kind of person who smiled in your face and bit you behind your back. I asked if she'd be willing to talk.
She was.
Michelle told me something Haley never meant for me to know. She'd been trashing me behind my back for months. Said I was boring, that I only cared about work, that I didn't get her needs. Michelle said it got worse after I started the kitchen. Haley told people she wasn't impressed because I was just doing it to show off. Like I wasn't breaking my back every day for her. That's when something snapped inside me. I went back to Rick and told him to move forward with an eviction notice. He said it'd take a couple of weeks to go through. In the meantime, I started laying traps. I canceled the internet at the house. Haley called me angry. You can't just shut it off. I work from home. I said, it's my account. You're not on it. Then I canceled the electricity. Not shut off, just transferred it into her name. The next bill would be triple since the AC had been running nonstop. Then I reported Trey's unemployment fraud. I sent in full documentation.
Dates.
Photos.
Names.
Addresses of jobs he'd done. Even copies of text messages where he bragged to people about getting paid cash under the table. It took a couple of weeks, but the state opened an investigation. That's when Trey called me. He started yelling right off the bat. What the hell did you do, man? I stayed quiet. Just let him go off. I trusted you, he said. You're ruining my life. I said, you made your own bed. I just flipped the mattress. Then I hung up. But I wasn't done. A few days after Trey's little meltdown on the phone, I got a message from Haley. First one in weeks. It just said, we need to talk. I didn't reply. Later that evening, I drove by the house, my house. From the street, I could see the porch light was off, windows dark. Power must have finally gotten cut. I parked down the block and watched for a while. About an hour later, I saw Haley step outside with a flashlight. She looked tired, worn out. She stood on the porch holding her phone, pacing back and forth, then sat on the top step. I wondered if Trey was still inside, or if he'd already jumped ship. Next morning, Rick called. The eviction was approved, he said. You can legally have her out by the end of the week. I showed up the next day, with 2 sheriffs. Not to be dramatic, just to make it official. When Haley answered the door, she looked at me like she didn't recognize me. You're really doing this? She asked. I already did. She tried to argue, saying she had nowhere to go, that she gave up everything for me. I just stared at her. I wanted to yell. I wanted to throw that damn note back in her face. But I didn't. I said, you gave it up for him. You just didn't think it'd cost you this much. The sheriffs gave her 48 hours. She stormed back inside, slammed the door. I didn't wait around. 2 days later, I came back. She was gone. House was empty except for a few dishes, some trash, and the smell of cheap perfume. She left a picture frame on the counter. Our wedding photo. Face down. I threw it in the garbage. As for Trey, the unemployment office hit him hard. Not only did they stop his checks, but they also demanded repayment, plus penalties. He got hit with charges for fraud. Lost his license when he missed the first court date. Last I heard, he was working nights under a fake name in some warehouse near Pueblo, living in a buddy's basement. Haley moved back in with her sister in Austin. Tried to reach out again a few times. Left voicemails, long texts about how she missed the old US, how we lost our way. I didn't answer. But here's where I admit something. I wasn't perfect. I worked too much. I didn't always listen when she talked. I thought building a house and paying the bills was enough. Maybe for me, it was. But she didn't cheat because she was lonely. She cheated because she thought I wouldn't fight back. And Trey? He always wanted what I had, my tools, my job, my respect. He took what he thought he could handle. Turns out, neither of them could handle the heat when it came. The house is mine. Still rough around the edges, but quiet. Peaceful. I finished the kitchen alone. Turned the spare room into a little office. Got a rescue dog named Duke who sleeps by the door. I don't think about Haley much anymore. But sometimes late at night, I walk barefoot across those hickory floors I laid with my own hands and I smile. They took their shot. And I'm still standing.